Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Retail. In today's episode, no, I can't reopen the registers. Policy is policy. I have enough money. I could buy 3 cars just like yours. Showing up early before your order is ready. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. No, I can't reopen the registers. Fair warning, I'm on mobile and can never get line breaks to work right, so bear with me. I manage the retail side of a video game and electronics store/repair shop. When we get phones in for repair, we tell them up front the turnaround time is about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We especially emphasize this to the people that drop off too before close. So, today was a decent day, and we actually managed to get the store closed out by the time we closed at 7. Both registers counted and turned off for the night, trash taken out, everything cleaned for the night, money on its way to the safe. Our store phones automatically send calls to voicemail starting at 7, and one call tonight just managed to sneak by all of 5 seconds, so I did the kind thing and picked up. This is how that went. Me, store name, this is Strawberry, how can I help you? Caller, y'all close at 7, right? Me, yes, we close at 7 and we are technically closed for the night. Caller, well, I dropped my phone off for repair. Me, checks name, yep, I do have the phone right here, repaired and ready for pickup in the morning as our registers are already closed for the night, and with how the repair system works, they do have to be rung through the register. Caller, why didn't you tell me earlier? I live 30 minutes away. I have work in the morning. I need my phone tonight. Me, I'm sorry, our registers are closed for the night. I was also present when you dropped the phone off and did hear the associate let you know that the repair would be completed sometime between 6:30 and 6:45, and to be in the area around then. Caller, yelling to someone in the background, and now she's acting like she doesn't even care, and you know well she'd be doing everything to get her phone back. Then to me, y'all only called me 10 minutes ago, I don't live 10 minutes away. You need to open the registers back up. I have the cash, I can just give it to you. Me, I did also check with the technician, and it looks like according to our records, we reached out to you around 6 o'clock tonight. I'm very sorry you're not able to pick it up tonight. Caller, I need your manager or something. Me, I am the manager. I've let you know what options you have, but unfortunately, I can't open the registers and store back up. Caller, I'm leaving y'all a 1-star review, and I'm never coming back to y'all again. Me, sorry to hear that. Is there anything else I can do for you? Caller, more yelling in the background dash. Me, okie dokie, have a great night. Hangs up dash. After I hung up the phone, about a minute later the new voicemail alarm goes off, then again 2 minutes after that, meaning she tried to call back 2 more times and left angry voicemails when she couldn't get through. It was very clear that she was still at home when she called, which would have meant me keeping my staff here for at minimum 45 extra minutes past their scheduled end time because we can't close alone. Poor planning on your part does not necessitate an emergency on mine. Policy is policy. I work as a cashier at a construction store. So, when people make returns and have no record of making a purchase, they have to present a form of government ID, so we can issue them a gift card. Their ID needs to be shown or scanned if they want to use the gift card, and if it's the wrong ID, even if it's a spouse's, we won't accept it. I had a guy come into my line who was making a rather large purchase, mostly wood, nails, etc. Just your basic building materials for whatever construction project he happened to be working on. When the guy got ready to pay, he handed me the gift card. I took it as per usual. Me, Han, I need to see your ID. I just need to see the name. Guy, hands me his ID dash. Me, I check it over, realize the names don't match. Sir, not that I'm an expert, but I don't think this is you. Guy, glances at the name on the screen, that's my boss. Me, is he here with you? Guy, no. Me, then I can't accept this, you'll have to pay with something else. Guy, he made a return and he wanted to use the money to purchase these. Me, trying to think of the best way to be diplomatic about this. Well, I get what he's doing, he wants to keep all the purchases on one card, right? So he doesn't want to give you cash? Guy, yeah. Is glaring at me as I talk dash. Me, that's smart and I like that idea. I have people that do that, but if he's not here with you I can't take the card. Smiles brightly and hands it back to him dash. Guy, I can call him, and he can tell you. Me, sir, even if does call and I speak to him, I still can't take the card. Guy, fine, I'll pay with something else. At this point, I figure it's the end of the issue. He asks a few questions about items he purchased and asks me to recheck prices on certain things. As he's finally pulling out another card, he starts up again. Guy, why can't I use the card? He's my boss. Me, I get that, but I still can't run it. It's policy. Guy, grumbling and then raises his voice. What do you think? I stole it. Me, gives him a puzzled look dash. Guy, he gave it to me. Me, how could you have stolen it if he gave it to you? Guy, I didn't steal it. Me, I didn't say you did. You, I make a point of gesturing to him, brought that up, not me. Like I said, I get it. Your boss is trying to make it easier, so you can do your job and he can do his. But I can't break policy for you. Next time just have him come in with you, or I can explain it to him if you want. Guy stumbles a bit over his words after this explanation, quickly pays, and then leaves dash. Me, moves on to the next customer dash. Guy, comes back in after 15 minutes. It was wrong of you to do that. Me, just gazes at him, waiting for him so I can move on to my next customer dash. Guy, I want to speak to your manager. Me, you're more than welcome to, but that's not going to change the policy. Guy, getting angrier and raising his voice. Why not? What's it even for? Me, still being diplomatic. It's to protect hardworking people like you and your boss from someone trying to use their money. It's a pain in the ass, but it works. This isn't true, it's to prevent theft, but at this point I was trying to get the guy to leave. Guy, where's your manager? Me, motions to the large sign posted across the store at the customer service desk. You can talk to him if you want. Guy, you should have let me use it. Me, sir, I told you, it's policy. Guy, but I have the card. At this point, I've had it with him. I had 2 customers patiently waiting for me to finish up this fiasco so they could check out. I decided to put my proverbial foot down and make it very clear the conversation was done. Me, sir, I'm not breaking policy for you nor risking my job. I have to get back to work. Motions to the very kind people waiting for me. If you're going to make a complaint, then please do so. Guy starts spluttering angrily in Spanish dash. With that said, I deliberately turned my back to him and started ringing the next person in line. Guy hung around for 5 minutes trying to get my attention, waving his arms and making exaggerated hand motions to get me to look at him. I refused to acknowledge his presence at that point because the conversation on my end was over, and if he wanted to file a complaint with the manager, I figured he would go do so. Eventually he left after swearing up a storm when he realized he was getting no further explanations from me. And nope, never did hear of any complaints. I have enough money. I could buy 3 cars just like yours. LTL, FTP, all that jazz. Also sorry about the mixture of British and American English and any grammatical mistakes I've made. Not a native English speaker. I used to work as an attendant for the largest gas station company in my country. At the time I'd been working there for about 2.5 years. The job itself was actually really enjoyable, and I loved my time there. Currently I am working at the same company as a recruiter, and whenever I am offered shifts as an attendant, I always accept them. On to the story. I was finishing up one of my last shifts as an attendant. Cleaning the oven, doing the dishes, mopping the floor, etc. When a Russian-speaking man came in and wanted to fill up his truck. I tried my best to tell him, in my broken Russian, that we are a fill first pay after type of gas station. And with the help of a regular customer we managed to get the point across. He then went and filled up his truck. The total was about 350 approximate 92.5 gallons. It was an hour until the end of my shift when he came in to pay. After entering the PIN for his debit card, the terminal gave an error. After 2 more unsuccessful tries, I decided to contact our in-house IT team. Turns out his bank did not have a contract with our service provider, hence he couldn't pay with his card. All that time the regular stayed there and helped me as a translator. By that point I was all out of ideas. Had the regular tell him to wait a bit until I could get a hold of my station manager. Unfortunately she didn't answer the phone. So I decided to call the regional manager. She advised me to call the head of external partnerships, since he has more experience in dealing with foreign banks. Unfortunately that was a dead end, because he hadn't even heard of the customer's bank. So off I go calling the regional manager once again. Meanwhile the truck driver had called the owner of his company and told him about the whole ordeal. The owner requested to speak to me. Thankfully he spoke a bit of English and asked me if there's a way to bill them and have the charge paid via a bank transfer. That lit a bulb in my head. We have a debt certificate form we can fill, which basically says that the customer agrees to the charge and agrees to pay it by a certain date. As I was finishing up filling the forms, my station manager called me back, and after explaining her the whole story, she told me to call the head of security at our company. He on the other hand told me that the debt certificate was a bad idea, since the company and the driver were from Poland, and if they decided to not pay, it would be too expensive to seek legal action. He also asked me why I hadn't just told him to use a nearby ATM to just retrieve the cash from his card. I literally face-bombed in front of the customer. How had I missed the simplest solution to the problem at hand? Had the regular tell the truck driver to follow me, and I drove him to the ATM. The driver successfully retrieved the cash. While driving back we chatted a bit, as much as I could at least. He boasted to me how his boss had wired him so much money for the trip, that he could buy 3 cars just like mine with it. He also told me that the first thing he'll do when he gets back to Poland will be to go to his bank and make them sign a deal with our company's provider. When we made it back, the regular had gone, truck driver paid for his fuel, and all was well. I gave both the regular customer and the truck driver a free coffee and a pastry of their choice for the inconvenience. In the end I had spent almost 3 hours and made a dozen or so phone calls to help the customer. Thankfully the truck driver was understanding the whole time and didn't make a fuss about the whole ordeal. Showing up early before your order is ready. So once upon a time I worked in a printing store, and surprisingly customers who want copies of documents can be jerks. This is the most interesting stories I have about said type of customer. So one day a customer came in during our rush hour with a huge stack of papers, and wants 1 copy of each, and there are a decent amount of papers of all different sizes. You have to change the settings and type of paper when this happens. We say okay, come back in 2 hours, and it should be done. 2 hours to get through the rush, customer says okay, and makes us promise that they should be done by then. An hour goes by, the rush has calmed down and one employee has gotten a start on the copies. The customer comes back in and asks if his copies are done. We say no, we're still working on them. He demands to know when they will be done. We inform him he's technically early, and that they should be done within the next hour. He demands them now and starts yelling at the employee working on them. The manager steps in and tries to calm him down. He starts going off about how he has trust issues, and that this is why you can't take anyone's word on anything anymore. He starts trying to back the manager into a corner of the store, and starts talking about how he knows people, and how he used to be a pilot, and starts getting aggressive. So we threaten to call the cops. At this point we decide to just not finish his print job, and give him back the originals and shared his copies. He gets big mad and says he's never coming back, and we're all happy to hear that. About 15 minutes go by and we get a phone call. It's the customer saying we forgot one of his original documents, so I look around the counter and assure him we retune them to him, and that we double-checked that we did. He gets pissed on the phone and hangs up. Another 15 minutes goes by. He calls again, says he double-checked his documents and he's sure something is missing. In the background you could hear him speeding and his tires screeching as he yells about his copies. I offer to transfer him to the manager and he hangs up. Another 15 minutes goes by and he calls again. This time the manager answers the phone. The customer is just screaming at this point. "You forgot my copies, AAGGGGHHHH, AAG hi, you forgot my copies, AGHHHH click." The manager hangs up the phone. At this point we're pretty sure he's likely coming back up to the store. The manager goes in the back to figure out what to do, and another 15 minutes comes around and there is no call, but I sense something is about to happen. So I decide to take a 15-minute bathroom break. When I come out the bathroom, there he is up at the front of the counter demanding his lost documents. When I come out the bathroom and see him, I kind of duck behind a store shelf. At the same time the manager was also coming out from the back and also ducked behind a store shelf. The associate that was up at the front of the store also ducked down behind a printer. After a moment we were all like, well, guess we got to at least go talk to him. So me and the manager walk up and he's yelling about talking to me and how his copies were not made on time. I remind him that he came in early, and he refuses to leave the store until he gets his copies, and we call the police. The customer rants and raves that this is what's wrong with America and why you can't trust people. The cops show up and escort the man out and tell him he's banned from the store. He does not leave quietly.